Hello there. I'm Jack Wilson of the Home Planer Company, and I'm actually planing with a razor blade. In the Little Giant Razor Blade planer set, there are two planes. One, the regular flat plane for all of your ordinary flat planing. The other is a curved plane where you can actually plane on inside curved surfaces. Now first, let's go back to the flat plane just for a little bit. Right now, I'm working on a piece of mahogany, which is a fairly hard piece of wood. But here's something you carpenters and cabinet makers will certainly appreciate, and that's how this tool will work for your finish work on real hardwood such as oak, where you're doing furniture work, build-ins, cabinets, and things of that kind, where you have this real hardwood to work on. Now, of course, we don't say that you're going to do all of your planing on your hardwoods with the Little Giant plane, but when it comes to finish work, where you need a nice smooth edge on it, well, there's one that will really do a wonderful job. Now, the set of tools, of course, the curved plane, you'll do lots of work with that, working around on inside curved surfaces such as I have here. And lots of times you know that it would be real handy to be able to work around on that inside curved surface. Now, if it's a small curve you need to get into, something like this, which will happen a lot of times, then what we do is turn the plane around and use the other side. Because here we have two curve cutting surfaces, one for the long curves and the other one to get down into the little places that you can't reach with the big one. And it really is a wonderful tool for working model work and hobby work. Now, some of you I know have tried to plane balsa wood, and you know how hard it is to plane. If you do any model work or hobby wood, watch how easy this will plane balsa wood. Just think of the work that will save you. Making model airplanes or something of that kind, or you want to bevel the edge of the wing down or something of that kind. Instead of trying to do it with sandpaper, just look what a wonderful job you can do with that for all of your model work. Now, our set of tools, of course, are designed primarily as woodworking tools. But as it turned out, there just isn't another tool that will equal it for working on this material. Now, that's your inlaid linoleum, your plastic, or rubber tile. You know, most of us will put some of this down at some time or another, and when you do, you have to cut curves. Fit it around the fixtures, around the sink, or work tabletop, or around the tub, or something of that kind. And you know how hard it is to cut those curves with a knife. Well, look how simple and easy it is to do the job. You can cut right to a hairline fit. Now, if it's a little curve that you have to make, where you're fitting it around a pipe or something of that kind, you have to cut out this little curve, then you'll turn the plane around, use the other side, and you'll be able to work down into the little places and cut those out that, of course, you wouldn't be able to reach with the other side. Then there'll be times that you'll have to do this. You're putting down the blocks and you work up to the wall, and maybe it lacks about a 1/16 of an inch fitting. Well, trying to take off that much with a knife is almost impossible. So we go back to the flat plane now for this job. And once or twice or 3 times, whatever it takes across there, and you can certainly make a perfect fit. And there'll be times that you'll want to do this. You want to bevel the edge to fit under a sink or molding strip. Well, you can certainly do the job with that. There just isn't another tool made that will do the job, bevel it right down to a knife edge, and really make a wonderful fit. Now, here's something else that a lot of you do, leather work as a hobby. And there's a tool that just can't be beat for skiving leather. Just look what a job that will do, because you've got the sharpest thing there is cutting there for you, a razor blade. There will be a lot of jobs that you'll do around home. You'll want to fix a dresser drawer or a cabinet drawer. You know, in most every home, there's some drawers around that need a little fixing. You want to plane off just a little bit. Whatever it takes to make it work, if it's just one time across, well, of course, that's what you'll do. Or if it takes more, why, you'll do that. Now, when it comes time to put up the screens, the storm windows, and things of that kind, you want to plane off a little bit. Just take your little plane, whoop. Now, that's something you're not supposed to do, of course, is plane against the grain, and that's what I'm doing right now. You'll notice I did plane against the grain. But something I do want you to notice, that the blade in there is sharp enough to actually plane against the grain. But, of course, you're not supposed to do that. So we'll just turn it around and plane from the other side. So if the storm window or screen doesn't quite fit, you can plane it down and really make it fit the way it's supposed to. Then sometimes this will happen too. You'll have a door where every time you open and shut that door, there will be a place on it that will rub. Now, for this job, fixing the doors where they have a spot on them that rub, we don't use the flat plane, and I'll show you why. If you start with a flat plane, unless you plane all the way across, you'll break off. I'll try to show you what I mean here. if you push the plane when it's a flat plane and you try to stop, why, you are going to leave a broken place wherever the chip breaks off like this. It'll be a ragged place. Well, of course, you don't want that. So for taking the spots from the door, and of course you can always tell where they are, you use the curved plane. You can set it on there, push forward, and lift up. And you can take off those spots, and it will leave it smooth. It does not leave a rough, ragged edge. And of course, there's lots of other jobs that you will do with them around home. You know, nowadays there's a lot of people doing the do-it-yourself work. They're building furniture, refinishing old furniture, and things of that kind. Now, if you want to take the finish from an old tabletop or something like that, take off the old varnish or refinish the table. Now, you think of a tabletop as being flat, but of course it actually isn't a true flat surface. And if we were to use the flat plane on there, we actually would skip places. So for this job, we use the curved plane. And you can see how much work that will save you, taking the old finish off of a table, and it'll be ready in just a short time for the varnish, a little bit of slight sandpapering, and you can stain it or varnish it, whatever you want to do to it. And of course, the best part of all, when you do want to use the tools, they are going to be sharp. Because you'll dull blades, sure, like you do on any other. You'll run into a hard knot or a nail, and you'll put a nick in one. But you don't have to worry about it. Grinding or sharpening a planer blade, all you do is take out the blade you've been using, throw it away, and put in another one. Just take off this little nut, then the plate that holds the blade down. It comes off. Take out the blade that you've been using, and just throw it away, put in another blade. Put the blade right back across the little bar, then this plate will go back on top. And then the nut, of course, will go on to hold the blade in place. Now, changing the blade in your little curve plane is the same thing. Loosen the nut that we have here, take the nut off. There's also a little plate in here that holds this blade in place. That plate will come out, take out the blade you've been using, throw it away, get you another blade, and of course a used blade just as good as a new one. Drop it back inside, then your plate will go back on, right back down on top of the blade, and then the nut will go on and you'll screw it down, lock it into place, and your curved plane will be sharp again and ready to use. Now, after seeing some of the many things that you can do with the Little Giant planer set, I know you'd like to have a set of them. And you're probably thinking the set must sell for around $5 or $6. And if they did, I think they'd certainly be worth it. But instead of the $5 or $6 that you might expect to pay, you can get the set for just $2.98. Now, that's both planes in the set. And of course, remember, your complete satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. Now, here's your announcer to tell you just how to get the set.